Was Drake in your Wrapped? Did Drake show up in your Wrapped?
I mean, you saw it already, so.
If Drake showed up in your Wrapped, don't talk to me. Don't say nothing to me.
It showed up in mine, so we'll get to that. Welcome back to Everybody Got a Podcast, but everybody don't need a mic. I am your host, Vic Jaymes. Make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe. Hit them buttons all the way up. Rate us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Special guest in the house tonight, as always, Frock Boyz in the building.
Frock Boyz in the building!
Entertainment anchor and reporter, stand-up comedian, but more importantly, my guy, my dog, Jordan Hicks.
Free on Sunday. All the sound effects.
Thanks for joining us, bro.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, bro. I was telling you before we started, this might be the longest podcast you ever have that you do, because it's just been a minute since we've been able to catch up. So
it's funny because I structured it just so it wouldn't be the longest podcast, but you know, that's just as he said. We both got big yappers. We used to do this all the time back at our crib on 8005 Frock Street in Austin, Texas. So this might be one of those. This might be one of those, definitely for sure. We got a dope show lined up for y'all today. We're talking all things GNX, a little bit of messiness that goes on with that. The year end in music, trying to prove that our music taste is superior to everybody else's, but we are also sheep like everybody else is too.
That's right. That's right. Was Drake in your Wrapped? Did Drake show up in your Wrapped?
I mean, you saw it already, so.
If Drake showed up in your Wrapped, don't talk to me. Don't say nothing to me.
It showed up in mine, so we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. And who's the real MVP in the NFL this season? I got a lot of thoughts on that. I know Jordan does as well. Mm-hmm. So we'll get straight into it, man. Been in LA now for a minute. How's the LA life treating you in the lovely Mile LaGrange so far?
Absolutely. I'm loving it. It's probably the most comfortable I've ever been. You know what I mean? You know that I've always dreamed of living up out here, and it's been a really good time. And it's been the craziest time to move to LA as a light-skinned brother. It's just been a weird time. For the
high yellow brother.
For the high yellows. Kendrick's got the street hot. He's got the streets hot. For them boys, how you come out in a concert and bring all the gangs in the city together. You bring the reds, the blues, the greens, all the colors. You bring them together.
I don't think enough people outside of LA culture understands what that meant. Like I was in Southern California during that time. I was visiting family. I just got back from Japan, and my homeboys had a Juneteenth party at their crib, and we watched the concert together, and we all lost our minds when that happened, because it's such a pivotal moment that you just don't get. Like, for the culture, you just don't get that type of thing at all.
Right.
Living in Southern California, being LA adjacent, all my family being in LA, like, you just don't see that unless you're family, unless you see like a sometimes even reunions and stuff, like cookouts and whatever, like you don't even get that. So it was such an important moment, I think, for the culture. But yeah, go ahead.
Can you and just think about what it took to make that happen? Like, all the colors uniting against one common enemy, beige niggas. You know what I mean? Like the beige,
though.
The beige. I don't even rep the set like that, gang. Like, I'm not even.
You gotta be in mind, it's the beige. I think
the beige.
It's the beige. It's not like all. It's not all beiges were under siege at that time. It was just the beige. It's still under siege.
So much under siege. He's filing suit. He's taking it to court. I know Drake got ghostwriters, but I didn't know one of them was named Dick Wolf. You know, I didn't know.
Dun dun.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah.
In HD. Yeah.
See, hear him on the Law and Order remix. I've been completely ingratiating myself in the culture. I had braids recently. I didn't put them in. I just sort of woke up one night listening to GNX, and they were just there. So
They just
you know,
manifested.
they just manifested because of that album. But it's been great living out here, bro.
That's awesome, man. But you are, you're a country boy at heart.
Yeah.
You try not, the twang don't come out all the time, but when you go around your people, you definitely that Cadillac in Louisiana come out for sure. What is going on in Opelousas right now? What's going on in what's going on in Opelousas? What's going on in LeBeau right now? Can you give me some insight?
Hey, listen, bro. My dog David Sylvester is taking over, brother. Listen, all right. So look, you may have seen, for the viewers out there going viral. Yeah, this is it right here. That's my boy David Sylvester singing one of his hit songs.
This is
an original song. And as you can see, he's doing it at a Walmart. This is a Walmart that he's doing that.
And that's
in Opelousas. The one Walmart. The Walmart that you go if you want to. I call it the social club because every time you go there, you see about 5 people you know. And on this particular day, David,
Christmas decorations up. You got the sequence pull over. I love it, man.
But bro,
Walmart employees are getting in it.
That ain't nobody at a register. Both waiting in line with frozen. Like, I gotta get out of here, but nah, we up in here swinging out.
Self checkout is getting fleeced right now. People are just walking out of the store with Christmas presents.
Someone just rung out a PlayStation 5 as a banana, and don't nobody care because David is getting it in, bro. So look, David was a substitute teacher at my high school when I was growing up. Over there in Opelousas, I think he was like fresh out of college.
You said he was a teacher. He's a teacher at your high school.
A sub. He was a substitute teacher, so he would come and sub for the theater classes and things like that. And one day, like, it was an art school, so one day somebody just heard him sing, and he's great. He's a great singer, obviously. And so he would sing at all the events and all that stuff. Eventually, he helped spearhead our step team that I was on. He was like our step captain. And he did that. And so I know him very, 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 very well. And I'm happy for him, man. Like, he is a Southwest Louisiana celebrity. And, if you put out good swing out music out there, you're good at any cookout, any trail ride. It
feels like that. It feels very like Frankie Beverly and Maze. It feels like, like you could smell the charcoal burning and everything. Like, that's what it definitely feels like, picnic. You feel me? Like, I love it's a good song. Like, when I heard it, I was like, I think I saw it and I sent it to you immediately. Like, I sent the tweet and you were like, I know that dude.
I know him so well. I know that guy very well. Like, but yeah, like he's a good dude, cool as a fan. A frat brother of mine, Alpha Phi Alpha.
Hey,
he's a great guy, and I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy that happened for him because he's been singing forever. He's been at it forever, grinding, and they finally picked him up, and he's on every radio you listen to.
That's dope. That's cool.
And there's a couple of swing out artists like that like y'all probably never heard of. But
back at the crib,
like, they're huge. Like, they got Tucker. Everybody knows Cupid. That was Cupid for a while.
Yeah.
That was Cupid.
Yeah,
that's where Cupid's from, out that way. So,
because like, I got family in Shreveport, so like,
for sure,
I be hearing about some of these cats, and they'll like, my LA cousins will bring that music back home, and when we have like cookouts and family barbecues and stuff. I'll be like, who is this? And they're like, oh, this is so from back around the way. And I'm like, oh, that's dope. You know what I mean? So that is cool to see, like, the regional music. I'm always going to be a fan of regional music getting its shine on a national level, whatever that looks like. Like, I just love that.
Yeah, and you made it when you selling out the biggest venue in Opelousas, of Walmart. Okay, and I say that without one hint of irony. That's where you want to be. For some reason, there's a whole. For some reason, it goes Walmart, and then there's a casino named Evangeline Downs. Right? And
and Walmart's above the casino.
You saw it.
It's a super.
We're going to Evangeline Downs to gamble on the horses. We're not. We're going to Walmart to party.
Hey, look, I am never gonna throw smoke on that. I've been in some one Walmart towns, and that is the most lit one Walmart I've ever seen in my life. So no, kudos to your boy. I thought when I saw that, I was like, this is some definitely Opelousas shit that Jordan has described to me before, and I gotta clue him in on it. So yeah, shout out to your boy.
Yeah, shout out to the step captain David Sylvester. We used to call him DJ. Shout out to man. I remember you when you had the fake dreads in your head, brother. I remember. I remember.
Not the fake dreads.
I remember. Hey, that's not. Hey, that might beat me in a couple of weeks. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with my hair,
man. Hey, man, you gonna have the goddamn the. I told you you're gonna have the O-Dogs by the time Kendrick is at Kendrick is on at the Super Bowl. You're gonna have the O-Dog braids. You better be careful.
Yeah, I might. Who knows?
On that note, sticking on the music tip, I got to give you your flowers, man, because as I've talked about it on the show, like a couple episodes ago, and I've talked to you personally. You are ahead of the curve on a fantastic song that might be one of the best songs I've ever heard in my entire life. And I'm just going to play a little bit of it again for everybody. I know we've all heard it. We're going to hear it together because this is my guy, so I got to give him his props.
Yeah. More than enough. Yeah. I don't even know what to think anymore. Can you show me? I can't even tell anymore.
It's so Soft Spot by Jameson. Soft Spot by Jameson might be one of the best songs. Not even might be. It's one of the best songs I have ever heard in my life. And I wanted to give you your flowers on that. Being a year ahead of the curve, because when it came out in 2023, you were like, Vic, you got to listen to this song. It's better than Inferno, which is also by Jameson.
Which you put me on. You put me on Jameson, period because of Inferno.
Yes, I've said this story before. I was at a vegan food house in Dallas with our homegirl Bree, and it came on over the loudspeakers, and I was like, "Yo, what in the is this?" Like,
who is this soulful black woman singing over this speaker?
I was like, "What is this? Like 2004 black woman disco joint?" They got playing in vegan food house, which is also black women owned. And I was like, all right, cool. I go and look at the video, and this is this pasty, skinny ass white dude from Detroit.
Skinny white dude.
And I'm just like, where did he get this soul from? And I'm like, he's from Detroit, so that makes a lot more sense. But yeah, man, talk about finding that song, the album coming out, listening to it, and then trying to put me on, and I just wasn't hearing it because I was just like, ain't nothing beating Inferno.
Well, I can't really blame you for not taking to it because, like every other Jameson song that isn't Inferno, well, let me put it to you this way. If you were introduced to Jameson through Inferno, it's going to be hard for you to go to his other music, and it's not going to hit you immediately like Inferno does. You have to listen to it a couple of times. So when I went and listened to other songs other than Inferno, the first time I heard him, I was just like, I'm not connecting. Spotify put Soft Spot in front of me as soon as he dropped it, that song, and then his whole album. And I listened to it and I was just like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I listened to it one day. I don't know. Listen to another day. I don't know. Because Spotify just kept putting it in front of me.
Just pushing them on you.
Yeah. I think it was like the third or fourth time I heard it. And I don't know what it was. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was the video of him just dancing or if it was just that. My favorite part is in the background, that bing, 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 bing. It just hits you. It just hits this little spot in your brain. You know what I mean? And him and the voice, I don't even know what to think. He's like, I was taken. So then I tried to put you on, and then you was like, man, I'm not fucking with it. I was like, man, what? I promise you, if you
just give it a couple,
listening to it,
give it a couple more times. That's what you said.
I don't know if you went back to it as many times as I did. And
not initially. Not initially. So literally, it's so funny how life and all these things work out. Literally before it went viral again because of the music video, I don't know how that even happened. Mm-hmm. I just naturally started listening to it. And because I had as we'll see, our year wrapped, like my music listening intently is like really bad. You know this more than anybody probably.
Because you just put it on and you do other stuff.
I do other stuff, or like I won't listen to something and I'll come back to it. Like I'll download something when it comes out and I'll be like, let me listen to it on my own good time or whatever. So I listened to the album, but I hadn't like listened to it. And I don't know why, but it came up. Soft Spot was on one of my playlists. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? And then I like, yeah. And then I looked at the name of the song. I'm like, oh, this is that shit that Jordan was trying to put me on. Yeah. Nonstop after that. I went like, I want to say like 2 or 3 days. Just like, I was surprised it didn't end up in my top 5 songs because I think it did actually. It did. Because I just listened to it back to back. And I was like, damn, Jordan is right. Like I was like, Jordan was right. I had to listen to it a couple more times. I just want to thank you for putting me on to that song, man, because that's literally one of the best songs I've ever heard. And on that note, talking about, Euro-Americans, Caucasians that have some all-time great songs randomly, another conversation me and you've had plenty of times. Who are some of those people? Who are some of those Euro-Americans that have had some all-time bangers that you could think of?
Well, I don't know if it's... Yeah, I got a bunch, bro.
I know you got a bunch.
Well, first of all, since it's sort of relevant right now with that Yacht Rock documentary going around we're talking about that I haven't seen yet, but I really want to see. Yeah. Because one of my favorites is my boy Michael McDonald. Michael McDonald with the I keep forget. Hey. Come on, bro. He was a weather back in a long ago.
Is that guy? Is Mike random though? I guess he is.
That's the thing. I really wouldn't call him random. I think most people wouldn't call him random. Like if we're talking about white people songs that black people like, or are we talking about white people who be making black people songs?
I think we're talking about the latter. Like
white people who be making black people songs,
because like we're not talking like Tierra Marie, we're not talking about Michael Bolton or like anybody. Mm-hmm. Like we're talking about like people like Jameson, who is a random white man from Detroit who made a absolute banger. So like I'm gonna play you some songs, and then from there we can move forward. You can give me some of yours.
All right. Give me some examples.
And you know this one.
Oh, shit. I haven't listened to my boy in a minute. I've got a brown lover on the other side of town. I don't want to keep her waiting. She's got me upside, tongue-tied, twisted all around. I don't want to keep her waiting. Well, I don't know. I haven't heard this song in so long. This last just come and go. It came so fast. I remember when you put me onto this song. Damn, there's a song that be coming on to work that you put me on one time. I was like, man, I forgot how it goes. But it's just like that.
Is it Ambrosia?
How much I need, I live for your love. Well, that's how much. That's how much. That's how much. That's how much.
Great song.
How did you have like a barometer? What are some other ones you think?
You didn't have to cut me off.
Not a random white man, but we go as hard as anybody for Phil Collins' Tarzan soundtrack.
Oh my God, bro. I wanna know. Can you show me? I wanna know about the strangers like me. All right, Phil, we're doing a Disney movie. So it's a guy, he gets abandoned on this island, raised by apes. He can talk to apes. You don't gotta think too hard about it. Just, come do what you gotta do. Do your heart what you must believe in. It's like, ooh!
2 worlds, 1 family.
Like, whoa! What's going on? Like, Phil Collins was going so hard, he had Rosie O'Donnell spitting. She said, "Shoo-ba-doo, ba-ba-da, boo-ba-doo, ba-da-ba-da, boop-bop."
My mom had to tell me, like, do you know who this is? And I was like, nah, like, who the fuck is Phil Collins?
Yeah.
And then she was like, you don't get it. And I was like, I don't. And then now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, I get it. That's why my mom was tweaking in the movie theater, like, what the fuck is this? Like,
nah, man. Shout out to the mamas, bro, because that's how I got put on too. My mom put me on that.
All of it, all the music. My entire music taste and catalog is due to my dad has a really good music taste. Like, me and him have definitely dived into it lately. But early on, just because, access and me living with my mom put me on to everything: hip hop, R&B, rock, pop, white, black, Mexican, like whatever. Like, it was all of it. So like me and Jordan we have an eclectic taste. And that's one of the main reasons. Well, one of the early reasons why me and him got along so well is because we just like the same music.
What was it? It was Shalimar. That was what really broke through with us.
That was the first like little nugget that we were like, you like Shalimar? You like Shalimar? Like, yeah, nigga. Like, what
that bitch saying? This is yeah, that's really what broke through. Yeah, that's what broke through.
It's true. That's awesome. I love shout out to Shalimar. I know.
But speaking of music, did you watch the Motown Christmas special on NBC?
I haven't gotten to it yet. I was going to tee that up, but you beat me to it. So how was the Motown Christmas special, Jordan Hicks?
Man, it was a great time, man. So they bring you up into this huge mountain up into the hills of Hollywood.
This is definitely going to be the longest episode I've ever had on this show.
I'm telling you, I told you that already. But they take you on a bus. They basically blindfold you, put a bag over your head, and then they take you up the hill. No,
it's a mob hit.
They take you up a hill, and we show up to this mansion in Beverly Hills. And first thing we see when we walk out of the bus is Jamie Foxx. Like, first thing, and he's out there. He's not like talking to us, but he's like getting everything set up because they're getting everything.
Because he's MCing, right?
He's not MCing, but he has a part in the show.
Gotcha.
He like does he heads up the Stevie Wonder tribute.
Oh, dope.
And so they're doing that. We're watching this show with all these legends. You know what I'm saying? Smokey Robinson sings. The Temptations, they sing. A bunch of people, man. And then at some point, because it's gonna look good on TV. We watched it today. It's gonna look good to y'all, but it was a nigga production. I'm sorry. Like, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? I felt at home personally. Like I felt at home personally. You know what I'm saying? But there was a couple of lulls in between the thing because, some people had to leave and it was messing up the flow of the show. And so there was a lull. And so Jamie Foxx comes out and just starts sitting with the audience and starts shooting the shit with us. You know what I mean? Like he's out there talking, telling jokes. He's talking about his special that just came out recently that he was getting ready for.
Which is fantastic. I don't know if you had a chance to check it out.
I haven't seen it yet, but
it's great. I
can't wait.
I'm so happy he did another stand up and it didn't suck. I'm just happy about that because go ahead.
We're on this side of the crowd. Jamie's on the other side and he starts this. It's like, oh man, my side's doing, they're the most hype. And our side's like, don't forget our side. And Jamie Foxx is like, oh yeah, our side, we on Adderall over here. And then I stand up and I say, oh, our side, we on cocaine. And then everyone's like, ah! And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna laugh. nigga. Yeah, nigga.
You gotta laugh with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I gotta laugh with Jamie Foxx, nigga. I did the joke with Jamie, nigga.
With joke for joke, bar for bar.
We went joke for joke, nigga. And then at the end, Maya was just like, you should have just got up and did what Jamie Foxx was doing. And I was just like, maybe one day I'll be bold enough to take
have the gravitas.
Fox.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll be bold enough.
It's not something you just do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Jamie Foxx.
She had a point though.
It's definitely a point. I would have, if I was sitting there, I would have told you the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is Jamie Foxx though. It is a different monster. And it's not even like you're going against him. You're just like playing to his setup. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it is a communal, joke environment. So like, yeah, it's not like you're trying to dog him or whatever. And I think Jamie's the type of person, just from seeing and reading the things I read about him, that he would have invited that and been who are you? You know what I mean? Like, so that's dope. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. I don't think it would have been right if a Motown Christmas wasn't a production, to be quite honest.
For sure. I loved it. When you watch it, it's put together well, but like there are some, like you can see it in the margins. It's just like, it's
been a wild year in music, to say the least. It's been a fun year. I think it's been a surprising year. And I think the year-end Wrapped year in review for Spotify and Apple always kind of sets the tone for the year to come, as far as like what your listening habits are and how you've been consuming music. But as Jordan said before, I listen to music pretty passively. I'm more of a podcast guy. I watch music videos a lot. So prefacing that, because my top 5 is not good.
You're just letting people know.
I'm just trying to soften this blow real quick.
I'm trying to pull this now. So
but I think
you're about to pull it up? All right.
For both of us. So I'm going to start with Jordan's, and then I'm going to go to mine. Right. But I'm prefacing it that way. No, actually, I don't really give a shit. I think it's funny.
It's fine.
I think it's funny. I think it's actually cool, like that it can kind of give you a frame of like what you do and how you listen to music.
Yeah.
I just didn't expect mine to look the way it does. It was very interesting to say the least, but here we go. I think we have, let's see. We'll start with Jordan's.
Okay.
Let's see.
I don't forgot. That's why I was trying to pull it up. I don't forgot what it was.
I think
so I'll preface mine with, I'm mostly nowadays, because I'm a 31-year-old man now, I just listen to sports talk.
That motherfucker's 30 now, dog.
Yeah, I listen. It's sad. I listen to more sports talk than I actually watch sports, and it's great.
Yeah,
like it's
I
great.
definitely,
like way more.
I've definitely known that about you. Yeah,
substantially more. Like I'll listen to sports talk than I watch sports, and it's weird. It's like a weird quirk that I have, but like I have some really good sports shows that I like. I listen to them. I like keeping up with everything, even though I'm not watching every game, because I guess I'm universally bound to watch every Panthers game, so I can't watch anything.
They've gotten less shitty lately.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
I'm the same way. I told my dad this while ago. I think I told you this too. I became my father like around the time I turned 30, because that's literally most of the things I consume is just like sports talk and stuff like that. Even my YouTube is full of just like watching clips of shows or whatever. So let's see here.
When I did listen to music, I think my top 5 ended up being pretty solid.
It was your top. I think both of our top 5s are solid. They're just not what I would expect from either of us, for real. So this is Jordan's season Wrapped. You got Beyonce number 1. Number 2, Kendrick. Number 3, No Worries. Number 4, Larry June. And number 5, 21 Savage, which kind of surprised me a little bit, but we both love like a couple of songs from 21. So that wasn't
I love a lot of 21.
Well, I really don't like that many songs, but I think 21 is solid. I just it's weird that he's in my top 5 as well. But looking at your list, I'm like, how is Jordan more West Coast than me? That's the one thing that came to mind when I was looking at my top 5 and his. Beyonce is not terribly surprising, but it was still surprising. Like
when that Cowboy Carter album came out,
you banged the fuck out of that, didn't you?
I banged the fuck out of it.
I did. I did too. That's why
I liked it way more than I thought I did. The first time I listened to it, I was like, all right, it's not Renaissance. Right. And then like 15 listens later, I was like, all right, it's not Renaissance, but I can't stop listening to it. You know what I mean? Like,
so this is his top 5. And let's see. So here's
now what the f is this, man?
I literally, when I saw Drake was up there, I was like, when do I listen to Drake? That was my first thought. Like, outside of the beef, I can't tell you the last time I just like went and played a Drake song. Now, I will say that Drake is one of those artists that will come on in the shower and I'll be like, all right, like, I'm not going to like,
turning it off.
I'm not going to rush to change it. And this is not to say I've never had like, and Jordan's known this too. I've never had like a legit problem with Drake outside of the fact I didn't think that he was like a real actual rapper. I've always thought he was a pop star, a pop artist. So that was my only like gripe, like the whole, and even of the, not of the culture. Like I've always said that too, but I've never had like a legit, like, he's a vulture and things like that up until very recently because of the new revelations and things like that. But even with all that being said, it's not like I don't listen to his, like, oh, the beef is going, so I'm going to stop listening to Drake music. That's never been a thing. I was surprised that he was up there though.
Yeah. Drake is one of those where you'll just rack up minutes listening to him, not even really realize.
It's like the most def thing. Like, oh, look at these products. So many products.
Yeah.
So many products.
Yeah,
look at the SKUs.
So many SKUs.
So many SKUs. Look at all these SKUs. Oh, so many products.
So much merchandising. So many barcodes.
I love this mall.
Look at the SKU. Like it's mall music. Like I never.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't register when you're hearing it because it's just easy. It's easy listening. It's elevator music. So like I think that has a lot to do with it. But again,
it's funny. It's funny that SWV made your top 5.
So for me, it's not like
I know, like for you, it's not. I just think that's funny.
In general, it is funny. Yes.
In general,
because I will. Jordan knows this too. I love '90s. So like '90s R&B and hip hop is like is where I live at. Even though like I have a lot of different, I have a lot of love for different types of music. SWV is like the quintessential '90s R&B sound. So like, it's about time. I think I listened to that song at least 100 times. Like,
Weak might be the best R&B song ever written.
Ooh, I can get with that.
It's top 5. It might be number 1.
I can get with that too. I can get with that. Weak is a very good song. Yeah. And it's like the harmony, the changes, the bridge, like the writing of it, like it's a really
change towards the end.
Right. The production
it's such a good
solid.
Song.
And it's a song you can listen to no matter what mood you're in. Like you can be devastated your girl broke up with you. You can be happy as that you got a new lady in your life or whatever. You can be getting married. You could be at the cookout. Like it's a universal song. So yeah, SW, which is funny because I don't listen to that song that much. I would also put, if could be one of the greatest songs ever. Anything is up there too. Anything is a great song. Anything is one of the greatest songs I've ever heard too. Like it's like for very similar reasons, but like the harmony, the way they come in, and the way they play off each other. It's so sad that they like fell out with each other, like all R&B groups do, for a long time. But now they're back doing stuff together. But the way that song is constructed is so good. But I've listened to all 3 of those songs so many times throughout the year, so like that's not surprising that they were up there. But yeah, Beyonce, like between Renaissance and Cowboy Carter, I heard Cowboy Carter for the first time at this event that happens in Austin every Friday night called 4 Record Friday. And I think they played 4 Beyonce albums back to back to back to back. And I never heard Cowboy Carter up until that night. And I was like, yo, she kind of did something with this. Like, I do not like Texas Hold'em at all. But
that's the worst song on the album.
It's the worst song on the album. It's crazy. That's the first single because the rest of the album jumps. because
it
that
sets
like,
the tone for what she was trying to do.
Hear.
Though.
Absolutely,
I understood why it was the first.
No,
song.
I get that too. I'm just to your point though. That is the worst song on the album. That with her and Miley Cyrus, the Two America's Most Wanted or whatever it's called, Two Most Wanted or whatever. That shit bangs, and I'll tell you, I'm in a club. I'm off like 3 Espelon. I'm like, yo, who told them to do this? Like, and Two Hands to Heaven. We'll get to that too. Like, because I think that's both in our top 5 songs. But yeah, this is my top.
I cannot wait for Beyonce to lose album of the year to Taylor Swift. It's gonna be so frustrating yet so funny.
So on point. Like, especially after she got the Billboard Artist of the Century or whatever it was.
Yeah, they will give her every award but that Album of the Year award. And last year when Jay-Z said what he said, you could be like, yeah, no, they're gonna listen to Jay-Z. Now we have every reason not to. I would
say they wouldn't give a fuck about what Jay-Z had to say regardless.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
Regardless.
This is my top 5 songs.
This is your top 5 songs, yes.
This is about right.
You're an industry plant. God, you got Tommy Richmond up there. That's crazy.
So Tommy Richmond is good. I never said he wasn't. I never said, but the word on the street because you know what? Maybe he is. He's a good one. Like sometimes the industry gets it right. Listen, I heard some old stuff from Tommy Richmond, like before he blew, not too long ago. I was like, this voice doesn't work with everything, but like when they use it, like, it works. Like,
it's definitely like
down, baby.
It's definitely a Brent Fires find. Like you could definitely feel that. Like Brent was like, I got to get this little on here. I got this little white man on the payroll because
he's great.
He's definitely, but like not like us being up there was very.
That's going to be a lot of people's number one.
That's very LA of you. It will be, and it was one of those things. Like that song is not a bad song at all. Like the fact that people are trying to say like they got tired of it so quick, or like LA people run songs down or whatever. I'm like, yeah, we do, but like good ones. Like you don't hear a lot of bad songs being run down in Los Angeles. Like you just don't. Like, and I think
the last time a hit single had that problem. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I'm tired of this song. This is all they play on the radio. That's how you know. You know what I mean? Like we haven't had a song like that for probably 5 years. It was a song that be like this song got run into the ground. Like,
yeah, maybe. I mean, again, not listening to the radio. Maybe On My Mama. Maybe.
I never felt that way about On My Mama. You know,
I didn't either. But like me personally, when I hear a song that I like, I run it into the ground. Now, I knew I was going to hear Not Like Us everywhere else I went, so I didn't listen to that as much.
Right.
Like, but songs like that, like God's Plan by Drake, I felt like I heard those songs everywhere I went.
Mm-hmm. And it's been a serious drought of songs like that until this one. Which is hilarious. It is a beef song. Euphoria is a great song. So best song of the beef.
It is easily the best song of the beef. I was gonna say it was probably gonna be Meet the Grams before that one, but then Euphoria just like squashed that in a miss. And then he was just like, well, since I got you here, let me drop this other shit.
All I know is if GNX would have came out 2 months earlier, that would have been like my whole Wrapped. That's all I've been listening to.
That's fair. That's fair. And
every day, just randomly, I yell out, "Bing bop, boom, 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 bop, bam." The type of shit I'm on can't even understand. Like,
crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious.
Yeah.
So this is my top 5 songs for the year.
Yeah, this is solid.
This is very on point for me. Being
that Leon Thomas song I just actually heard like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's my shit, boy. I love this song. I love that song. Like Nobody's Business. If I have it, I'm gonna pull it up right now. I think I should have it.
Baby, I'm a dog, I'm a mutt.
She said, take your time, what's the rush? I said, baby, I'm a dog, I'm a mutt. She said, take your time, what's the rush? I said, baby, I'm a dog, I'm a mutt. I'm a dog, I'm a mutt. I can't smoke no reggie, so pardon my bluntness.
That is that bar.
Pretty faces, so I got trouble trusting.
I've been smoking already, so part in my bluntness is crazy.
I'm so happy for him too.
Yeah, because he's been at it for a
He's been at it for a while, trying to break away from that Nickelodeon.
Yes,
and he finally did it. Like he's been writing forever. Like he's been known, but like it's been hard for us as the general public to break him away from
the dream.
Yeah, like it's been hard for us to break him away from the Victorious or whatever show he was on.
It's Victorious,
and it was and I'm glad that he's finally starting to get off.
Isn't it crazy how talented those people are, though?
Yes, Ariana Grande
in that realm, like child, Disney, Nickelodeon actors and actresses, like how insanely talented they are.
Isn't it crazy how insanely talented they are, but how untalented the main characters are most of those shows?
Okay, yeah. So we've gone over our top fives for artists and songs a little bit. Who are some other artists and or songs that you think that weren't represented in your top fives that you want to give some flowers to?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked this question because I was physically dragged by the scruff of my collar to a Kaytranada concert.
Ooh, okay.
And now I can't.
I almost put him on here, but I was like, that's too obvious. So I'm glad you said it.
And now I can't stop listening to Kaytranada. I can't stop.
That's also,
can you feel it? Love it.
That also somehow is very LA of you.
Love it. Love it. Him and I'm gonna look up the name of that kid that opened for him because I've been listening to him too a lot too. But and I want to make sure he gets his flowers because he's great. He has a single with him. Yeah, Kaytranada. I thought he was the kind of guy. I thought I was going to see
Don't even say nothing to me, boy. You look like a motherfucking
I thought we were going to see like Steve
David Guetta or some shit.
Yeah, like and I just wasn't in the mood for that.
He's house, but he's more of an R&B type of house.
And Channel Trace, who's actually from out here. And
Okay,
he's like a rapper, but he does like house rap. It's crazy.
I've heard of him too.
Channel Trace. He has a song on here on his new album. Kaytranada does with Duran Bernard, who I really like.
Ooh, like yeah, he is. He needs flowers too.
That guy can sing so good. Like it's crazy how good he can sing. It's and his just vibe. That guy's personality is A1. He should be way more famous than he is.
Oh, facts. Big
that's
facts.
That's coming. I don't believe he won't be. He will be extremely famous.
Did you ever hear he was on the Terrell show?
Yes.
And he's been on there multiple times, but he did like a Kurt Franklin Stomp remix talking about smoking.
Oh, I remember that. It went viral.
Have you seen it? Okay, I was about to play it because that shit was crazy.
Let me tell you a story. I said, lately I've been smoking the kind of shit that would have me down.
He did not turn this Kurt.
I need a strand, the kind to pick me up and turn my high around.
Get out of here.
Here we go. I can't explain it. It gets to blazing.
It better be about Jesus.
That weed is it's so amazing.
Give me a bell.
It gets me fried. I can't deny. And when I think about sativa. It makes me wanna smoke.
That guy is going to be extremely famous in the next 1 or 2 years.
The only reason why he wouldn't be famous is because people hate gay people. Like
that's it, gay black people. People just don't.
In particular,
especially gay black people. That's the only reason he wouldn't, because that guy can sing his fucking ass off.
His ass off.
But K-Tronada has some bangers on this album that I've just been listening to on repeat.
Yeah,
some songs that if you heard and you'd be like, why is Jordan listening to this? And I'd be like, hey man,
I wouldn't think that. I think that you. I don't know. I don't think anything you listen to surprises me, because I think we pretty much, for the most part, listen to the same stuff. So if you're like,
shout out to Maya for making me go to that concert.
Shout out to Maya LaGrange. Hey,
she loves bragging about putting me on to shit that I didn't want to do. So when she's right, she's right.
Should, man, because you a stubborn motherfucker. So I can get with that.
I am stubborn. I did not want to go at all. At all. She guilted me into going.
Was that Nokia?
I loved it. I forget which one it was at. I think it started with a B. This whatever stadium. I forgot.
Oh, I don't B.
I forgot the name of the stadium now.
I'll think of it in a second. But is that so? K-Tronada?
Yeah, K-Tronada and all those artists that were with him. I listened. I don't think he dropped anything this year. If he did, I missed it. But I always like shouting out Thundercat. I think everyone should listen to Thundercat.
Everybody should listen to Thundercat. He's very talented.
Who else? Maybe I got to go to rap. Oh, Tyler, the Creator, dropped Chromacopia. That album's one of the best of the year, bro. All these rappers dropping shit that I listened to like a lot that just wasn't enough to make my raps
at the end of the year.
But that was really one of my favorite albums of the year was Tyler's Chromacopia. That guy,
you're a big Tyler guy too.
I don't think he's capable of missing now. I think he's in
that ethos. He's in that.
Tyler, he is this generation's Kanye West. In fact, I think he's Kanye West but backwards, like career wise, because he started controversial and then got to where he is now.
I would even I would go a step further in that he started kind of mid. Like his early albums were solid, but they weren't like all-time great albums.
They were like shock jock shit.
Right, but since Flower Boy, he's been on it.
Yeah,
like he hasn't missed since Flower Boy. He has not missed. Like all these albums have been amazing, and I would even say his mixtape before that, the DJ Drama joint, was fantastic as well. So
that was an album. That was
after Flower Boy, right?
Yeah, that was after Flower Boy, Igor.
I want to say he had a mixtape with DJ Drama before that too, but I can't call it.
He might have.
You're probably right.
Call Me If You Get Lost was an album.
That was an album. Yeah, that was a whole album. But I feel like he had a mixtape with DJ before that, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, that's solid, man. That's really solid. I think all of those artists should always get their flowers. I think K-Tronada is one of those people that he gets caught up in people thinking that he's like overhyped. And I'm just like, okay, y'all just being corny because he's that good of a DJ. And the artists that he brings in for specific sounds, like him putting Donald Glover on a song is crazy. Like
that song's so good.
And it's like, I would have never thought to put those two people together, even though like Donald has a sound that is like supplements what he does. I would have never been like, oh yeah, Donald needs to be on a song with K-Tronada.
Did you listen to his album earlier this year that went out with his movie?
I did not. I did not listen to that one.
Me neither.
I'm kind of sad about that.
It's good though.
People say it's good. I just never got around to it. I feel like that didn't have like a lot of pub, you know, like I feel like he kind of released it and the movie came out and then that was the pub. Mm-hmm. But I was going to watch a movie for Easter eggs for Donald. I love Donald Glover, but like, and I love Childish, but this kind of felt like it went under the radar. But Doechii, man, like,
yes, it's happening. It's happening. We're watching it. It's happening. She's blowing.
In full effect. It's
happening.
It's happening, dog. And I'm so happy to see it. And just, you know, me, man, being just so hip hop and to have a young kid come up and just be so fucking hip hop.
See the way I'm walking with one of my arms lower than the other and my foot dragging? Well, that's hip hop.
Oh my God. Oh, that's hip hop.
Just warms my heart and like the crevices of it and all these things. Like, because for all the old heads like myself that like to act like music is dying and hip hop is dying, like it's just cool to see somebody like her come on the scene and just like tear the roof off this with that album. That EP is so good. She's supposed to have another album coming out in 2025. So, and that Tiny Desk outside of Durant Bernard's is the best Tiny Desk of the year. I will stand on that for sure. Yeah. And she said something, she tweeted something, I think yesterday, that I got to share with you. And it just kind of puts into perspective a lot of the things I feel about hip hop and how people talk about hip hop that aren't a part of the culture. And she's tweeted this. What was this? This was yesterday. We're taping this on December 12th. This was happened on December 11th. Our music has always been deep. Always. It has always been deep. It's always been complex and it's always been soulful / spiritual. We use hip hop to evolve, to protest, to celebrate, etc. Art and music play a role in why a lot of us are proud to be Black today. Like that sat with me so much. And that's what I think a lot of people don't get about this art form, is that it's meant to represent something. Like it's not just something this is the reason why I never got with Future or a lot of these other artists, because they treat hip hop like it's simply a money grab. It's not to actually say things that are important. And I love that I don't even know how old she is, but the fact that she's already saying things like that, and it makes sense she signed a TDE. It makes, because those are the only motherfuckers for real that say anything in their raps. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that she's this young, beautiful Black woman who's coming up saying and rapping her ass off, her whole like performance style, her music videos, like she's putting all of her energy into the creative part of it. And I love that. So that's one. La Russell. I think La Russell needs way more flowers. I think that he's able
a grinder
from the mud, like 98 Civic. Like that's one of my favorite songs. Like he's been grinding, he's been getting it from the mud, and he's a kid. He's 25. So like, I think they both are. I think Doechie's 25 too. So like a person who's independent, who don't give a fuck. He's representing the entire West Coast, bringing people together. I love that. Victoria Monet, like, come on.
Finally getting her flowers this year.
Finally getting it, man. Jaguar 2 was amazing. She got a Christmas album right now called Jaguar 2 Christmas Edition. I love that shit. It's awesome. And then my dog, man, friend of the program, Corbin Butler. I gotta shout him out, man. He's been grinding, getting it from the mud as well. He's been doing it for a long time.
Nice.
And I gotta shout him out, man, because he came out with an EP recently. Okay. And he's one of those people, like, and I'll tell you this too, like I'll tell this to the pod, like I've been friends with this kid since high school, and he has consistently gotten better as a rapper and a producer since I've known him. There was a time where I was like, I don't know why this kid is making music. Like it just kind of seemed like it was a surface level thing. And then you got to know him and it was like, oh, like he lives and breathes this shit. And I'm talking about producing out of his garage at his parents' house. And now he's like, it feels like he's about to crack. Like it feels like he's almost there.
Yeah.
And I don't know like when it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. Like he's that good, he's that talented. But this is a song I wanna share this with y'all, because this is one of the songs off his latest AP, Inland Iverson, that I really liked. And let's see how Jordan reacts to it. He hasn't heard this song, so let's see how he reacts.
This one, yeah.
I'm gonna be like, nah, this is giving November 10 vibe. I feel it. What we doing? What we on? What is this? Scorpion, yeah. November 10th, got him sick with the bubble guts. I'm barely with the shits. Cali nigga, but I'm blending in when I'm in the mid. Like Mike just took a trip to Kiss. Like Mike, I'm not a rookie making hits. It's a bet like Mookie in his LA Dodgers fitted all I know is I put on dog shit in my committee. Yeah. I'm screaming west side, cause now I got a body and a head high. Grim Reaper walking around, pocket full of dead guys. Talking all gang, oh, you know you getting bled, right? I got expectations, dinner finna come with some
He's finest. He's finest.
Man. Hey, tell that to keep going, bro. Tell that to keep going. Cause I can see that catching, man. Especially right now. Like, I can see that catching, bro. I like his vibe. Send me that when we're done so that I can put that in the rotation. Because that guy, man, it's just cool that we're having a year where Rapidy Rap is sort of wrestling the game, or I think has successfully wrestled the game away from just sort of vibes-based mumble rap type deal. Like, I think that kind of rap has a place.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
Like you said about Future and stuff like that. It's just like, I'm not as passionate against the likes of like Future and them, because I feel like, you know, I feel like there's
somebody.
Yeah, like I feel like there's something behind it. But I think a lot of the new people ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just sort of putting sounds together. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that the top of the, you know, knowing that the top of the charts are being represented by Rapidy Rap ass motherfuckers who are using all of, you know, who you can understand all their words, you know what I'm saying? And some of their albums have a through line, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think we're back to where a lot of people wished hip hop had been for the past like 5 and 10 years.
I would say 20. I would say 20 years.
Well, I can tell you when it happened, man. It was that, I think it was 26. It was whenever that double XL freshman class that had Yachty and 21 Savage, unfortunately, even though I said I liked him.
Yeah, I would argue that was a symptom of an already far gone problem. Like, the fact that that group of people represented anything hip hop is insane, but I don't think it's their fault. Like, to your point, I think all of these artists to a certain extent have a place. My only issue, and you've known this, is that people like that oftentimes talk about the rest of hip hop like or the history of it like has no place. Like, Yachty's one of those people where I don't know what is if I think he's one of those guys. He just said he just listened to Reasonable Doubt recently. Like, how are you a quote unquote rapper and say you're of the culture and you just listen to Reasonable Doubt, or you're like not trying to freestyle? Like, it goes back to a lot of those conversations me and you had where I was like, even before this beef, where I was like, I never looked at Drake as an MC because he went on Funk Flex and was reading off a BlackBerry. Like he's not freestyling.
Yeah.
Like, to me, a MC, a rapper, is somebody who is of that. Like, they know they can freestyle, they can battle, they can do all of those things because that's where the art started. It's not something that you're just like, oh, I'm a rapper, but I don't do that. Like, how? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. It's like being a hooper and being like, well, I can't triple threat. Like, that's not how I play. Like, that's that old shit. I'm pulling up from wherever and like, I don't have fundamentals. Like, that doesn't make sense because you have to learn this part of the game in order for you to take this part of it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't argue that those things have a place, but I felt like a lot of those guys, and I feel like a lot of them have said it on wax, that they don't necessarily respect that part of the game. So to your point, like, the Rapidy Rap coming back is fun for me as a person that's real hip hop. And I think Kendrick kind of shed a light on that. I think it was happening before that moment, but that beef that's what that was about, was the fact that Drake wasn't a part of the culture and Kendrick felt like he was and is, right? So as we get into that, you know, GNX, the tour's coming up, you know, I'm trying to go to Toronto. Like,
you just want to see what you messy. You just want to see what
I just want to go. Like, I think for a cultural experience, I've never been to Toronto. I know they got Caribbean food and they got legal cannabis. You know what I'm saying? So like, I just want to be there, and I just think it would be like the homies was like, "Oh, you just want to be in Drake Hood and just stomp out on it." I'm like, no, like I literally just want to like see for myself like what the fuck is going on, like because that's crazy. He added a show. Like he added a show there because he anticipates it being sold out. And then there's rumors that Drake bought out seats and now he's giving away seats for free and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Crazy. So I
did you see that Drake is touring in Australia?
Oh, that's wild. No, I did not see that.
Like, come on, man.
That's the only place he's touring?
It's like Australia and Europe or something. Anita Max Win.
Is he with somebody or is he like a feature?
I don't know if he's with anyone or anything like that. I just know that
weird.
Yeah.
Not even in Canada?
I don't think so.
Wow. I gotta look into that one.
I can look it up, but
you can look it up real quick. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, GNX tour. He's obviously gonna be in LA. He hits Texas a couple times. He hits like the DMV parts of the South, but the Toronto news is what got the streets buzzing because he added a show, obviously. I just want to get your thoughts on the tour primarily and the album, man. Like, you know, we've already kind of hit on it a little bit, but what have you thought about the album?
Hey, that's my bitch. The album has so many great moments, and everyone's talking about the mustard one, and yes, that was a great moment. But my favorite moment in that album, first of all, shout out to albums that have moments. You know what I mean? Like you don't see a lot of the best albums have like, damn, I remember that moment of the album. You know what I'm saying? Not just that moment of a song, like just that moment of the album where this happened. You're just like, oh my God. Like the first time you heard Reincarnated and it all crystallized to you exactly why Tailor Made was such a corny ass fucking song.
Bro, but didn't I tell you that when it came out?
We both told Devlon that. That's one of our mutual friends. And that was the first thing Devlon told me when he...
Devlon Douglas, if you see this, this is for you because we told your ass that was corny as fuck and you tried to argue us down at that karaoke place in San Antonio. You was like, what do you mean it's corny as fuck? What are you talking about?
And when that album came out, we was on the horn together and he told me, it's just like, and that's the first thing I said. I was like, when you heard that song, did it make you realize how corny that was? He's like, absolutely. Yes, I get it now. Okay. I get it. Right. I understand.
Shout out.
But no, my favorite moment though of that album is it's on Hey Now, Say Now, and it's the bridge when he hits that started to see spaceships on Rosecrans. That shout back to Jeezy. Yeah, I was like, bro, this guy.
That geeked up, yeah.
Oh my God, it's such a good album. And then obviously, bing bop, boom 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 bop bam. You know what I mean? I love that one. I think for the tour, the two shows you want to be at that are probably already sold out will be the LA show and, like you said, that Toronto show. But either way, that thing's just going to be a bang.
If my bread is straight, that's one of those things. Like I'll just pull up to Toronto. Like I don't even need a ticket. Like, and I'll just finesse. I'll try to finesse it, and if it don't work out, I'll just be in the city for when that happens. Like,
yeah,
because it's around the time of my birthday anyway, so it'll just be a birthday trip, and I feel like I could just figure out a way to get in the show. Like, if it don't work out, it's fine. But yeah, I love that because to your point, like moments in albums, I feel like by and large, it's coming back. I think that a lot of like really good musicians are out right now. I'm really excited to see what music looks like. Because, you know, for me being and getting that perspective of somebody who's not from Southern California, has no like real lineage to Los Angeles. It's been cool for me to see the long form, acceptance that Kendrick has been getting of late. I feel like he's always kind of had it. It's always been like bubbling necessarily. Like if you go to his shows and concerts and stuff, like you see like, okay, he has fans everywhere.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing like Dodger Blue, which is my favorite song on the album.
Same.
Being like
no
memed and, you know, put into line dances and all types of stuff. Like that's my favorite song on the album just because like it's smooth, it's very vibey to your point. Like how you're talking about earlier about like real hip hop coming back. My whole thing with Kendrick has been his versatility. And he could have did a whole album of just being like rugged. But the Hard Part 6 and Dodger Blue, he's like Luther too, but those two songs in particular, like he smooths it out, but he's still giving you bars.
Right.
Like Luther, I feel like is definitely more of a homage song. The Hard Part 6 and Dodger Blue are still homagey, but they're like, you know, Hard Part 6, he's rapping. Like he's getting it all out. And that was because, again, like you talked about with Reincarnated, the Hard Part 6, he's like, okay, this motherfucker made Taylor Made, Reincarnated. Okay, this motherfucker made Hard Part 6, this is the real Hard Part 6. So the sampling and all those things, like, you know, even with Squabble Up, like the goddamn the electric song, the electro song that he used on that joint, the sample on that.
Turn up the music, it makes me dance. Shout out to Debbie Deb, bro.
Shout out to Debbie Deb, yo. Shout out to Debbie
Deb. And shout out to my mom once again, who would always play Debbie Deb. Who would always play that? She would play that because of music. No, it was Weekends. Because the weekends were made for fun, something like that.
But that
Look out, weekend, cause here I come.
That's it.
Yeah, there it is.
But you know, it's crazy because, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Debbie Deb, that song, like in particular, is really big in like skating rinks on the West Coast.
Oh, I did not know that.
So like growing up, I used to hear that song all the time when I go to the skating rink. So I don't know if that's where that came from, but that's where my like introduction to that song was. That's outside awesome. Of my mom listening to it was going to the rink when I was a kid and hearing that song. So just all of those little layers in it, like it just makes it. And I don't look at it as like an all-time great Kendrick album. I just look at it as a solid album. And yeah, man, I'm really happy that he was able to put that together and give the streets, you know, some more things to talk about ahead of the Super Bowl. But man, the way that Drake has played this all wrong, bro, has been honestly amazing. It's been
embarrassing.
The worst L. Like just not knowing how to take an L is, I think, and we'll get more into that, but like knowing how to take an L and be graceful about it is, I think it shows you a lot about somebody. And it feels like, and I know a lot of things were said, you know, people were talking about each other, people were talking about wives and kids and pedophile and all these things. Like it's a battle. Mm-hmm. Like shit gets greasy. And that's the part that a lot of people, again, not associated with hip hop or people trying to be in proximity to it. You know, people that bite on Drake or bite on Kendrick too much or whatever. The shit gets ugly. Like that's the reason why a lot of times I don't like when rappers or artists that I like get into it like this, because it brings the worst out of people a lot of times. Yeah. Which is why I was happy that J. Cole stepped out, because he knew what was coming.
Then what did he do though?
What did he do? He got whacked again.
Then he comes out and he gives these BS like, yeah, man, I walked away from the beef because I didn't want to put blood on my hands. You know what I'm saying? No, you walked away from the beef because you were going to lose the beef.
Well, yeah, but even with that being said, that's still not untrue, because blood on my hands doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the beef. It just means that like, I'm going to say some shit that I can't go back from. I can't come back from.
It's the fact that he came out and reaffirmed his like for Drake. It's just like I got Drake's back, and then like a month later, Drake just completely embarrasses himself and anybody who was on his side. Like, it's the inability. We always talk about self-awareness,
right?
Is the inability to reflect on yourself and your own actions.
Your part in this, yes.
Your part in this. You know what I mean? Like, I just think the problem is that he was just not able to accept that this happened to him. You know what I mean? Like this all happened
because he's lost before,
and he accepted it then, because I think that was just, to him, it was so much more definitive. Like, the kid got exposed, your deal with Adidas got run through the ground. It was such a more definitive loss.
Yeah.
This one was a definitive loss to all of us. I don't think he's accepted that. I don't think he's accepted it as one.
Not only him, but everybody that's on his side of the fence. I wouldn't even say even people on his side of the fence. There are people that are not like necessarily definitively on his side of the fence that still think there's a thing to talk about here. Like, that it's still up in the air even after him calling the police. Like, you can't throw a rock and tell the teacher and then be like, the teacher's supposed to be on your side now. Like, that's the most major you can do in this situation.
Yeah.
Because I know you've seen it, we've seen it. It's Not Like Us was everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, they was playing Not Like Us in Germany and all the places he about to go on the tour you talked about. I didn't even know that he was about to be on.
It's Australia. It's just Australia and New Zealand. I just looked it up.
That's hilarious. But it was over there too. It was everywhere. That song was everywhere. He had everybody. Kendrick had everybody in every region on this planet calling Drake a pedophile. And that is what he cannot stomach. He doesn't think that being the biggest pop star in the world at one point, like he was and or is, that could happen to him like that. Like, I think that's what people have been saying, and what I agree with too is the fact that he's the guy that makes the hot song. He makes the hit songs and everything like that. So he thought that he could meet Kendrick where he was and be like, well, I can out-rap you, but you can't make a better song than I can. And Kendrick was like, hold my fucking beer. Like, what you mean? They're like, I got Grammys too. What are you talking about? So, like, I've been saying this for years, and you know this too. Kendrick has done what he's wanted to do his whole career. There's never been a time where he's made music outside of what he's wanted to do. When he made Damn, that was when I was like, he can do literally whatever the fuck he wants, because that was at a time where people told him he could not make hit songs or like a bop album. And Damn, even though it has like bars on it, is a bop album.
Yeah.
Ever since then, and nominated for Grammys, it won Grammys and all that shit.
Yeah.
So for Drake to come into this thinking that wasn't going to happen was hilarious. And everybody was telling me that same shit. I'm sure they told you that too. In circles.
Yeah. I called like 3 people the day GNX came out just to brag. Just to be like, oh, wait, hold on, wait a minute, hold on.
I didn't even wait that long. During the summer, when Not Like Us came out, I was like, what are y'all where are y'all at? Like, because that was the whole thing in the beef was when I was talking to people that were primarily Drake fans, they were like, well, Kendrick's going to win the rap battle, but Drake's going to make a bop that's a diss and it's going to end the battle. And I was like, okay, like, we'll see. I'm telling you, Kendrick can't do that. And I'm like, okay, we'll see.
Yeah, he tried.
And then he did. First he tried, and it flopped. And then Kendrick,
but no, Family Matter. Well, yeah, you're talking about push-ups. Yes,
push-ups flopped. That was the banger that he wanted to hit.
I didn't even think push-ups was that bad. I just thought it was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
but that's my point though. Like, it's even to this day, like Drake did not make really a bad song except for Tailor Made.
Tailor Made, yeah. And
because he didn't make it, he fucking AI generated that.
It's like, it was not.
It's stupid. It was the dumbest thing. You can't explain it to me to this day. Devlon Douglas tried everybody. He tried to explain it to me. I was not hearing that shit at all.
He's repented. Leave him alone.
He's repented. I'll stop. I love you, Devlon. But that was one of those where I was like, okay, like he's trying to make the banger to end it, and he never did. And then he dropped Euphoria, a conscious rap. And the same night he dropped Not Like Us, or like 4 hours later or whatever it was.
It was Euphoria, and then Drake dropped Push Up. No, it was Drake dropped Push Ups. Euphoria came out. Then Drake dropped The Family Matters, which again wasn't bad. And then like 10 minutes later,
that's what it was.
Meet the Grams.
He dropped it right after.
Yes.
Not Like Us came out right after Meet the Grams or Family Matters or whatever, right?
Yeah, like the day after that.
Yeah. So it was like back to back, right? Like he had notes like, it was like, how did you know I was going to respond so quickly? And then he responded even quicker type shit.
Yeah, that whole weekend was insane.
It was crazy because we were like out at the bars and was like, is it going to drop now? Like,
and what people forget is that morning is he dropped 616 in LA.
That's right.
Just randomly. Like people forget about that one. That one was a good one too. He dropped 616 in LA, erased it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So
sorry, Drake. Sorry.
I know. And you're a Drake fan. You're a Drake.
I like Drake. I think he's not, but I agree with most of what's being said. And I think the reason why this is happening is he got away from what made him good. And
because I think, again, to your point, self-awareness, right? Drake should have been okay with what people are saying about him. Like, whether it was Pusha T or DMX or Mos Def or whoever, but it's very clear, even after that says he does not care about what people think about him, he has cared.
Yeah.
And this whole battle was based on that. The fact that he cared, that people have been calling him a vulture and not of the culture, and he a white boy and all this other shit. Like,
white boy.
You know what I'm saying? So I, to a certain extent, feel for Drake, because I'm like, for a nigga to have such a lack of self-awareness is always sad to me because yeah, you could be a bitch ass nigga and still be like me, like, oh, well, that still sucks.
It makes you feel like he ain't got no real friends.
He doesn't, but he never did like that. These are things that me and you've been saying for years. Like,
yeah.
And the fact that it's coming to the surface is just so funny to me. Like, and I don't like kicking motherfuckers while they down, all that other shit. But him, calling the law and all that stuff, like him talking under his breath to DeMar DeRozan, all that shit, just playing it all the wrong ways.
That was crazy.
That was insane. Like, first of all, DeMar is 6'6" from Compton. Leave that nigga alone. Niggas that don't
take your L on that, bro.
I know this from experience. Niggas that don't say a lot are the niggas you do not want problems with. DeMar doesn't say anything.
No.
When you see his press conferences, him and Kawhi Leonard say the least amount of words. Have you noticed anybody try to fight those niggas in the NBA?
No.
Never. They're not the ones, I promise you. Like, so the fact that he even got caught saying that on camera under his breath, the fact that he said he gonna tear DeMar's jersey down out the raft, all that bullshit, like, shut up, nigga. Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm not kicking the dude while he down. Like, I hope he gets help. I hope he ends up being able to make music and sell some records again. But don't come on this side of the fence no more.
Yeah.
Don't call yourself a rapper. Don't, stay over there. Be a pop artist, be an R&B artist. It's fine. Like, it's all good. Yeah. Like, on that, I had to get that off my chest, obviously. On that note, the Super Bowl is coming. Kendrick is lining it up, and he might release some more shit before February. Who knows? He might
release some shit tonight. You never
know. You never know.
They're having a concert right now.
I'm not. I've been on the record. Like, I don't know what's going on in that. That dude is a megalomaniac. That motherfucker is a real life anti-hero. You never know what's going on in Kendrick's mind. So,
but it'll be further away from like making fun of Drake, though. I think.
No, yeah, I think he's done.
I think he's moving past it. I think he done one.
I think he's done. I
just think that he's doing things is going to be the jab at Drake. That he is successful now.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
That right. And again, what's the shit with at Rocky 4? Throw in the damn towel. if he did another album of just dissing Drake, I would have been off it too.
Yeah, I'd have been like, all right.
Like, come on, like, you know, we get it. You know, there's a couple little subtle jabs in there at Drake and GNX, but it's nothing like crazy either.
I think that was just him setting up what type of time he's on now.
Yeah,
and I'm fine with that.
It's him washing his hands of the shit. That's all that was. You feel me? So I appreciate that he didn't do another like a whole Drake diss album, because I think that's what a lot of people expected. And him going into the Super Bowl performance, like, I think this is going to be fantastic. It's interesting it being in NOLA. You're from Louisiana, so kind of give us a perspective on, you know, what you think we should expect and how you think this is going to play out in the Super Bowl.
Hot take. I still think he's going to bring Lil Wayne out. I do.
Ooh,
I do.
Okay. All right.
I still think he's going to bring Lil Wayne. Even though he said that in the album, even though people were rumoring that Lil Wayne was going to drop, I still think Lil Wayne comes out. I swear to God. Kendrick loved Lil Wayne.
Yes.
Loved old school.
That's true.
And
as everybody else did, yeah.
And Kendrick is so deliberate with the shit that he does. I would bet any amount of money that he still brings Lil Wayne out.
Yeah.
And like whatever. Because what he said on the album was just like, man, my success made Lil Wayne, you know, disappointed. That's kind of weird to me. You know what I mean? Like, just the fact that happened. And I just, for real, like, I think it's going to be cool though. You know what I mean? I think people were making a big deal about it being Kendrick just because of the beef. I think if that wasn't the case, then people.
Does Lil Wayne go though because of Drake?
Yes.
No thought. Absolutely. That's his
I understand. He hasn't really weighed in publicly too much. I don't think Lil Wayne is particularly, tied to having to placate Drake. I feel like Lil Wayne is at a point in his career he could do what and like Drake has screwed over Lil Wayne a few times too. Like Kendrick talked about it. I don't think that if Lil Wayne gets the chance to perform at the Super Bowl,
he's gonna take it.
He's gonna take it
in his city,
and that will be the jab at Drake. You know what I mean? I got Lil Wayne at the Super Bowl.
I got your mentor.
I got your. Ain't this your man's? You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's gonna be. I can't wait to see what he does though. You know, Kendrick is super deliberate. Everything he does is a show. Even his little part in the Dre show a couple of years ago was so like put together compared to everybody else. I cannot wait to see what he does with a whole 100 yards, man. It's gonna be great.
Man, it's amazing. Again, like, you know, seeing West Coast represented on that level and that magnitude is always gonna be cool for me. I think Vegas odds have N95 with the highest odds of being the leadoff song.
You can bet on that, guys.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Call those numbers, bro. Call those numbers if you're betting on which song leads up. If you have which song is being led off in the Super Bowl halftime show in a parlay,
brother.
All right. Look, I want heads on the tail, heads on the flip. 2 touchdowns by the away team. Kendrick's gonna do Not Like Us last.
I wasn't gonna share this, but this is it right here. This is,
oh my God.
According to OLBG.com, these are the most recent odds on which song will lead off. I don't think any of these songs are gonna lead off.
I don't think any of those songs will lead off. No. I don't think he's gonna do anything old.
I
don't think he's gonna do anything older than he might not do anything old. I really don't think he will. Like, I don't think he'll have to.
I disagree with that.
Because Kendrick, I don't think he's going to
lead off with on Kim on Vibe.
He's definitely not going that old.
You don't think so?
No, he's not going that old.
I just think I just think that's a perfect song to start with. Like,
yeah.
And it's because it's like to kind of, especially if Lil Wayne is not going to be there, it'll be kind of like, you know, a little bit of a jab at Drake, a little bit of a jab at Lil Wayne, and just kind of like, hey, don't kill my vibe. I'm here now. Like we about to turn this shit up. It kind of like it's soft and it builds and then it can just get into other shit that he's really like. And I just think that I think his songs are just so good. His catalog is so good. He's got to do some old songs. He can't just do GNX. He can't just do Mr. Morale. He can't just, you know what I mean? Like he's got to kind of play to all of it. So I can see him doing Good Kid, Mad City. I can see him doing what's the other one? Not The Recipe. I think The Recipe's too slow. But I feel like
I don't think he's doing any of this. He's not doing any Good Kid.
So you think he's doing only GNX songs?
If he does anything old, it won't be anything older than Damn.
I disagree with that.
We'll see.
I disagree with that. Just because it's such a moment, and I feel like I said he'll probably bring out Tyler. He'll probably bring out.
I think he'll bring out Tyler.
SZA's for sure going to be out there.
SZA's going to come out.
And the reason why I think for sure he'll have some older songs because I think he's going to bring out Black Hippie. There's no way he does. There's no way he does a Super Bowl. Doesn't bring out J-Rock, Ab-Soul, and Schoolboy. To me, it's impossible. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, I wouldn't be upset. I would be a little sad. I wouldn't be upset. But I think like Baby Keem, that's to your point. Like that's more Mr. Morale. Like that's also his cousin. So
there's a lot of ways this could go.
It is.
But he's only got 15 minutes. So
and also to be fair, we don't know what the he's thinking. So
yeah, we don't know.
All we're saying right now does not matter.
I'm gonna be very. It's gonna be very interesting. You know, he could take this multitude of ways. Knowing Kendrick, he might do all brand new shit. He might just do a bunch of songs you ain't never heard. You know what I mean? You just in a bit like what?
A couple things that we like, and then he's like, okay, this is for y'all, but this is for me.
And then and now 7.5 minutes of stuff you've never heard a day in your life. You know,
that's awesome. I can definitely see that for sure. I think Doechie's the other person I thought he might bring out just because she's the TDE heir apparent now, and she's also had a great last few months of the year. So I feel like that would be somebody that would, and especially if she drops an album around that time because she's supposed to be dropping an album in 2025. I don't know when, but yeah. So that'd be interesting. Do you think Lil Wayne has been pouting a little bit too much?
I'm so glad you asked that. You know who Lil Wayne reminds me of?
Who?
Carmelo Anthony. He reminds me of Carmelo Anthony when he was running to Carmelo Anthony when he was crying to get back in the league because that's what he was doing, and everyone could be like, "Oh, Carmelo Anthony should have been on the team at that time." Maybe, but
that's
the only reason he got, but the only reason why he got back on the team is because he cried on ESPN to Stephen A. Smith.
That's not the same thing.
That's what Lil Wayne talking about the Super Bowl.
The difference is. And and this is no disrespect to Lil Wayne. The difference is Carmelo could legit still play, but not in the way that he used to be able to play, and that's where Lil Wayne is at now, and that's why it's the same. Yeah, it's not the same.
Lil Wayne could do a Super Bowl halftime. I think. No, he can't. Like people talk about he can't perform. He can perform for 15 minutes.
Did you watch Louisiana Fest?
Yeah, but that's a whole festival. He's up there for an hour. He probably got drunk. If he can lock in for a 15-minute Super Bowl performance.
He's not. My point is, and the reason why it's different is because Lil Wayne has not shown that he can do that in the last 10 years. That he could be sober, show up, and do the job at a high level. Mm-hmm. Carmelo, even though he wasn't the same player, could still play and be a service at a high level. And he proved it when he got back in the league.
He did. Hey, look, no shade. Love you, Carmelo. I do. I love your podcast.
Yes, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is great. Hey, shout out to him and
the Kid Mero.
Shout out to him and the Kid Mero, man.
But that's what that reminded me of. And I'm glad you asked because I got to tell you that. Because that was like your least favorite take of
that's one of my biggest arguments.
That was my least favorite take of yours.
It was that and the Russell Westbrook stuff. Like that, those two things really pissed me off. And it wasn't because Carmelo was definitely because I'm a Carmelo guy. Like, you know this. Like, I love Carmelo Anthony. Russell Westbrook wasn't even that. It was just like, it felt like people were piling on the dude. Like he was just some scrub. And I'm just like, it's not even his fault he's in this position. So, but we're not even going to unfurl that can of worms at this time. But yeah, I feel what you're saying. Like, for all that to say, like, Lil Wayne's a legend. Yeah. I love, mixtape Wayne is awesome. All the Droughts, the Carters, that whole era. Like, everybody had that era of like scrolling through Apple Music or iTunes and just seeing nothing but Lil Wayne for a bunch of scrolls. Yep. Because of all of his mixtape music. Like, everybody has that era from our generation, our age. Mm-hmm. So like, I never want to feel like I'm piling on Lil Wayne. I just thought that it was like really weird that he thought this was owed to him. And to me, again, talking about like not taking an L, because I wouldn't necessarily call it an L, but how people take things with grace, to me, says a lot about a person. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Kendrick was having a moment that he was having, and for Lil Wayne to not even be happy for him at all. Like, you can be disappointed. You could be disappointed and still give love. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could be like sad and all those things and say that and then still be like, but like, yo, Kendrick's going to kill it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you haven't made any new music in like 10 years, right? Like, it's been a while. Like, I don't know if that's an actual thing.
He's made new music recently. It's just not been great.
Okay, well, there you go. Like,
he hasn't broken through. Like, I don't think people don't know about it because
exactly. So, like, and to Lil Wayne's point, like I'm sure he's like, well, Usher hasn't made new music, but Usher had a residency in Vegas.
Yeah, Usher was popping at the time just off of what he was doing performance wise.
Exactly. So like,
and yeah, he's dropping new music, and
that's not breaking through either. But like,
it's not but it's not terrible.
No, it's not. It's not. But the point, like we're saying too, is that he was popping other ways, and people like that residency was selling out. His tour right now is selling out. Like, you could probably credit the Super Bowl a little bit for that, but like, he's been selling out arenas now for a while, and I don't know if Lil Wayne has that power anymore. I just don't. Like, I'm sure we'll all show up for him if he had a concert, but if he came to town, I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me buy a ticket to go. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not.
And it's not because of the music. It's because the word is out about how he is on stage
as a performer, right? Yeah. And that's the reason why, like, him performing at a Super Bowl just never seemed like. When he got so upset about it, I was surprised, to be honest with you, because I was like, "Why are you that surprised? Like, you know how you perform now. Like, you know what you look. There was a time where Lil Wayne could fucking rock the house. Like, he could bring that shit all the way down, but now, like, it was just weird. So, and he made it seem like motherfuckers was against him and all types of stuff. And like, aren't you and Jay-Z friends, my nigga? Like, what are you talking about? Like, so that was a weird thing for me. But I hope that, to your point, I hope that Kendrick does bring him out to like do something, and I think that would kind of smooth that over a little bit to do one or two songs, and that would be really cool for the city. That's something
he's gonna put it to you this way: he's gonna bring somebody from New Orleans out. It'll be either Juvenile, it could be Manny Fresh. He's someone's coming out. I don't know who, but someone.
As we're getting into the wrap up of the show a little bit, winding down. This has been definitely the longest episode that we've done.
Told you, man. You might have to drop this one in 2 parts.
On everybody got to find.
Hey, you gotta have me on, bro. Like,
we might have to have him.
I'm your Dominique, bro. Foxworth Fridays.
We might have to have Jordan on periodically, as he says. And we also might have to break this up into 2 parts. See if we can bite it down a little bit, because we did have some space in there we could finesse a little bit. But the NFL, man, NFL season's winding down. You are a diehard Panthers fan. Just give me your thoughts. When we had the Lovable Losers episode, you had said 5 wins. You're at 3. You're at 3 right now. You probably should have 5 already.
We should have 6 wins, and we should be knocking on the door at winning the division.
Ooh,
we should. Have you seen the games?
Yeah. I have.
I know people don't watch those games. They shouldn't.
I only watch your games because of you and because they're less depressing than the Raiders games. So it gives me somebody to root for that actually has a chance of winning every week. But, talk to me about the Panthers and, your boy that is as big as you, Bryce Young.
I've never been so upset at a loss. I haven't been as upset as I was at a loss that I was at that Tampa Bay game.
That was rough.
When Chuba fumbled in like
OVO Hubbard.
I love Chuba. I don't care what he does. I love him. And that fumble was completely out of character.
It was,
but it is what it is.
It was just so funny that he decided that week, during that week during press, to be like, I stand with Drake. Like we don't bump no Kendrick over here. And then two days later,
that pissed me off.
He coughed up that ball.
That's exactly what he gets. But no, 3 weeks in a row, Bryce Young has led game-winning drives that have just been squandered.
Not even that. Made game-winning plays.
Made game-winning plays that his team just
coughed up.
Couldn't. Yeah. Him and Thielen both.
That catch was
crazy. Insane. He caught it like he was throwing it. How you catch a ball like this? Like what? How you do that? But if you were scripting it in a way that's like, we need to get Bryce Young more weapons, this is perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you were scripting it in a way where it's like, we're trying to develop this guy. He had a terrible first year, throw it out. He had a bad coach. He had a bad couple of games in the beginning, throw them out. He was still shell-shocked from last year. Dave Canales, with his hyper positivity, comes in, puts him on the bench, and yet somehow still makes him think that he is the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of how positive that front office is and how positive Dave is, there was even though there was like chirping from the media, it was just like, this is the craziest thing you could do. Bryce Young wants out, blah, 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 blah. I don't believe any of that just because of the type of man Dave Canales is, right? He comes back in because of that car crash that happened to Andy Dalton and just starts cooking. Oh my God. This guy, bro, did you see? It was going to be a 98-yard drive to beat the Eagles. Did you see that pass when he was running around the backfield in the end zone? They ripped his sleeve off his shirt. In the middle of the play, they ripped his sleeve off his shirt. He hit that dime to Xavier Legette. Bro, I think Bryce Young, I think Dave Canales is who we thought he was. The guy who made Geno Smith better, the guy who made Baker Mayfield better, and the guy who's working on Bryce Young. I think that we hit on pretty much every draft pick. I guess you could say we didn't hit on Jonathan Brooks because he got injured again. And I guess Xavier Legette's a little wobbly because of all the drops. But, like, I remember DJ Moore. We were watching when DJ Moore was there. Like, he dropped things a lot. Like, he was just a rookie.
Sure.
We got that undrafted kid who's hurt right now. We got Trevin Wallace. We got JT Sanders. It's there, bro. I think we've been showing the league for the past couple
years. The line has gotten better. The line has improved over the last few weeks. To give him more time to throw. Yeah.
All of it is there.
Defense has been serviceable. It hasn't been like all time like it's been in the past, but it's been serviceable.
Because people have started getting healthy. You know what I'm saying? People want to EJ Evero's head. And I think we lucked out because of all the injuries that happened on the defense. We lucked out because now ain't no way he's getting a head coaching job next year. He's going to have to stay, and he's going to get all his weapons back. We might have a really good defense next year. You know what I mean?
JC Horn, man.
JC Horn, who just got hurt last week, and I bet they shut him down. I bet they shut him down because they want that draft pick.
Right.
So where I stand on it is I think we got the coach right, even though it was on some like JJ Redick. This guy probably shouldn't be a coach, but we got lucky and he's good. You know what I mean? I think Bryce Young might end up being serviceable. I don't know if he'll ever crack like the top 7 quarterbacks, but I think he'll. Be
That's elite though. Like, you know, where
I
I feel
don't think
like top 7 quarterbacks is elite. I think that Bryce could at least be in the top like 10 or 15. Like,
I think he can be in that squishy middle. Like, I think he can be somewhere in that. And shit, I mean, he's had 1 or 2 plays where I'm like, that is a top 5 QB throw, and that's a top 5 QB play that he can make them. You know what I mean?
he's got to be consistent.
He's got to be consistent and confident, and the fact that I've seen that in him lets me know that he's definitely going to be here next year. My only thing is, you know, after the 3rd year, you got to consider paying him. Don't pay him.
They'll tag him though. They'll tag him.
Exactly. I think he's that kind of guy. I think they should go. I think they should go the Cowboys v. Dak Prescott route. Tag him as many times as they can and really see what he can do. You know what I mean? Because you got to throw last year out. You got to act like this year is the first year. And quiet as it's kept, CJ Stroud ain't been looking great.
You know what? Yeah, we could talk about that too. I think, and this is the reason why I hate how the sports talk cycle goes, is because people look at shit in a vacuum way too often.
Yeah.
And when me and you were talking about Bryce last year, I was like, you got to give the kid time. And unfortunately, with a lot of these number 1 picks, they don't have time. And it's very evident that he needed that time to sit. He needed that time to sit and watch and see the field from a different perspective.
Because he's always started.
He's always started. He started since he was probably 8 or 9 years old. And he's starting to look like the kid that was at Alabama now because he had those 3 weeks where he just got to sit, go to practice, go to film, go to lift, and all that stuff without the pressure of having to carry his team. And now he's able to put all these things that he's learned into practice from sitting and watching Andy, who's a pro. Like, what? We don't talk about it enough in this world where guys get a chance to legitimately sit behind a guy that knows what the he's doing, that's won games in the league, and be able to just soak up what that is and then apply it to what they can do to their own game. And now the game can slow down for you because you're not worried about like, I got to win this game to keep my job or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
it looks like it slowed down for him. It looks like he knows exactly what. Mm-hmm.
So much.
He's back there shaking linemen. Like doing the little Lamar Jackson stop, let him run by, keep going. Like he is doing stuff.
He knows he's doing exactly what we talking. When I told you my comp to him was Russell coming out.
Yes.
He looks he's not as thick, but he's looking just like how Russ, like that spin out, him stopping, starting, and finding guys downfield and all that shit. Like that's who he looks like right now. The game is completely slow. He's gotten time in the pocket to throw and look for his guys. So all the things are working. They just gotta. It kind of feels like, not trying to put this on you because I don't want to give you too much expectation.
No,
it's kind of
I
feeling
have none.
Okay, but it's kind of feeling like, well, that's the reason why I don't like this. I don't want to put this on you. It's kind of feeling like that Detroit Lions type of thing.
Yes.
Where exactly you guys are in a lot of these games that you're losing against really good teams, really good to good teams, and it's just like 1 or 2 plays here and there. These are going to be wins in the next couple of years if you guys kind of keep this rolling like the way it's going.
And so, it's like how the fan and it's just like with the Lions, the fans knew first.
Yes.
Like the fans on the Lions that year that they did make the playoffs, but they beat Green Bay at the end.
Yes.
Fans were like, these guys are going to be
4 and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. These guys are going to be great. And nobody believed it. People were just like, is Dan Campbell the right guy? Blah, 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 blah. That's exactly how it feels here. I'm not expecting it because our owner is awful and we could still do something stupid. But if we go into the draft and get an all-star wide receiver,
out the way though.
It does seem like he did that this year, and I think it's because
since the Bryce thing, it seems like he's gotten the out the way.
Yeah. So I think the future is bright. We're gonna see if they can hit on this draft again, and maybe if they can't find a receiver there, we might be in the running for T. Higgins or somebody. I don't think we're looked at as a joke next year because we've been a joke this year, and every game that we play,
y'all are favored.
Like, wow.
Y'all are favored in a couple of games down the stretch. So
we're favored against the Cowboys. I'm shocked. You know what I'm saying? So of course we're gonna get blown out this weekend. We're gonna get blown out this weekend, and that's okay. Bryce is gonna get sacked like 5 times. That's fine. We're not in a position where we should be favored by anything. But
yeah, and going back to the CJ Stroud thing, I was very, I love CJ Stroud. And,
me too.
And,
I think he's great.
But I feel like people are blaming him for the ills of his team. Like him not having Nico Collins the whole year. The offensive line has been terrible. Like he's running for his life on a lot of these plays. And they're still, aren't they like 7-8-5, 7-6?
Yeah, that's a good team.
Like, what are we talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Great.
But
I will say that the way they're both playing right now is how it was expected last year.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yes.
And I think that's just so interesting how that flips. Sophomore slump versus development.
Right, and I also think that people had CJ on this pedestal that he shouldn't necessarily have been on already because he played so well in his first year. And now, to me, it's so on point for motherfuckers to be hating on him because he said he wasn't going to have a sophomore slump. What is he supposed to say?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go out here and not play well a couple of games. Whatever. Like, come on now. Like, he's played about just as well as any other sophomore quarterback, second-year quarterback ever, right? So that's neither here nor there. But I think, like, when we look at these things with a broader view a lot of the times, it adds that perspective. And we put so much on a quarterback in this goddamn league that it's never okay for a quarterback to be middle of the road, even if his team is winning. Look at what's going on with Jalen Hurts right now. Like, Jalen Hurts is playing serviceable. He's not playing at his MVP level, but all the conversation is like, well, they're winning because of Saquon. Like, yeah, they are, but it's not like he's not making big time throws still. You know what I'm saying? Like it's context matters. And as we talk about that, we're going to get into NFL Coach of the Year. Easy.
No question. Mike Tomlin really could have won it like the past 5 years, but Mike Tomlin could have won it every year. Ben Roethlisberger hasn't been there, but this year, for sure, you have to give it to Mike Tomlin. There's no other coach. Who else are you giving it to? The only other coach you might be able to give it to,
Dan Quinn.
The only other two that I'll even accept conversation is Dan Quinn and Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
It's the only other because Dan Quinn's doing it with a rookie and Kevin's doing it with Sam Darnold after losing his quarterback. You know what I mean? Like those are the only two other people, but it can't be them because it has to be Mike Tomlin who took two quarterbacks that people thought were done and made them both look great in one half of the season and the next. Everyone says if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterback.
In a division with Lamar Jackson in it.
With Lamar Jackson, who he beat.
He already beat him already. They got one more coming up, but he already beat him already once. And it's everybody has not learned their fucking lesson when it comes to Mike Tomlin, which was, well, you can't start Russell Wilson. Justin Fields is just playing too well right now, and he's the young guy, and you could do more. Arthur Smith's offense, you could do more.
People were saying, what type of deal did Russell Wilson make with Mike Tomlin? It's like,
he's Russell Wilson.
And he's Mike Tomlin. Like, you think Mike Tomlin is changing what he's doing on the X's and O's just because of somebody's ego?
He's placating to Russell Wilson. Get the fuck out.
Hell no. What the? Come on, man. No. Mike Tomlin. And because he's the only coach who has looked into the camera in the middle of games and given it. Hey, that helps your case, man. If you're showing me personality in the middle of the game, or you just called an amazing 4th and 1 play to score a touchdown, or you just did something to squelch Aaron Rodgers or something, and then you look and you're just like at the camera in the middle of a game, you're the coach of the year. I'm sorry. Like, if he does, put it to you this way: if he doesn't win it, what are awards? What are we?
Yeah, what are they? They don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. Because, like you said, he probably should have won it already. And the fact that he's never won Coach of the Year ever.
He's never won Coach.
Mike Tomlin has never. I'm almost. You can look that up. We'll fact check that for everybody. But I'm almost.
Kevin Stefanski has a Coach of the Year.
Stupid.
And people still talk about him like he's an amazing coach.
Stupid. So, like, I'm almost positive that Mike Tomlin has never won a Coach of the Year. Like, and for that alone, for him, like betting on Russell Wilson. Well, like you said, betting on both of them for sure. But him betting on Russell Wilson when everybody and their mom on every show that me and you listen to and watch. Okay, so he won it one time.
Okay.
2009.
2009? Okay.
So they went the year they went to the Super Bowl. So
they went to the Super Bowl that year.
So that's
Mike Tomlin, that's his award. If like I said, if he doesn't win it, I just don't understand. Dan Quinn and Kevin O'Connell is the only two other people who even have a case.
They should even sniff. Yeah.
Like they're the only other two that even have a case. No one else even has a case. I guess you can say Andy Reid and Dan Campbell just because they're the two winningest coaches. But I mean, they're not really doing it under duress.
Yeah, Dan, and maybe you would give it to Andy because of the way they've won games. Like, but yeah, it's Mike Tomlin, and it's not only that it's not only what he's done with those guys. It's the fact that they're leading the division. They've only lost 3 games. No one expected this. No, everybody can say they just needed a quarterback, but no one thought they were going to do it with these quarterbacks. And as I say this, we can get into the MVP conversation. Who do you think is the MVP right now?
Man, I was holding on to Saquon for so long because I'm like, I think it might be time. And I still think if Saquon breaks that rushing record that it should be him because he's just had amazing moments all throughout the year. It's hard to overlook who had a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a passing touchdown in 2 plays per game. He did it in 2 plays.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And his stats aren't like super garish, you know what I mean? And I honestly think Jared Goff, if he beats him this weekend, it's weird because right now I have Josh Allen as number 1.
He should be in the conversation.
He should. But it's weird how I have Josh Allen 1, Saquon 2, Jared Goff 3. But if Jared Goff beats him this weekend.
Wow, your list is completely different than mine.
If he beats him this weekend, then I would put Saquon back at 1, Goff at 2, and then Allen at 3. It's weird. You know what I mean?
That is weird.
But what's your list?
You know what I'm gonna say, man.
No, I don't.
Lamar.
Yeah, you don't think he's lost too much though? Like you don't think we've
Lamar has 2 more losses than Josh Allen.
Okay, but that's still 2 more losses.
And you could say those losses aren't on Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean
his numbers are better.
Yeah.
His completion percentage is better. His on-target percentage is better. His bad throw percentage is better.
Yeah,
like he's just better. Like, and I think
I was on Lamar all year, and then he lost one.
I still am. He has almost 300 more passing yards. He has 6 more touchdowns. He has 2 less interceptions. His completion percentage is like 3 percentage points higher. He's on target more. Like, yeah, like he's just a better player. And like if you would his 3 picks, he probably doesn't even have because a lot of those were batted balls. Like and if you want to talk about like value to a team, like Josh Allen for sure I think they're both just as valuable to their teams winning as the other person is. So to me, it's a 2-horse race, and I would still give it to Lamar, especially if they sneak back and win the division over Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's the thing. He has to do that. Like he can't lose to his division rival and rival twice in a year, and me say he should.
I think if they lose no more games, he should still win it. To me,
That's what I'm saying. If they win out and he plays really well, and Josh Allen and Jared Goff sort of level off a bit because Josh Allen's been out of his mind.
But yeah, it's.
I think he sneaks back in, but I would still put Saquon over all of them if he.
I can get with that for sure because it was hard for me to put Saquon third, but yeah, it to me, you know how it is with Josh Allen. Like it's to me, it's really cool that he's proven me wrong again because I didn't think that he was going to be able to do this without Stephon Diggs.
Without people, yeah.
And
it's been all him.
Or Gabe Davis. And the fact that even though, like to your point, he's more of a game manager this year, he's still been able to make plays when they needed him to make plays and beat Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? So
that run that he had to seal the Chiefs game was
crazy.
Ungodly.
Crazy.
Like, I was like, man, this guy is amazing.
This was nuts.
He looked like Cam. I was like, that's a Cam Newton. That was a Cam.
He's a Cam doppelganger. We've always talked about that.
I'm about ready. I hate to say it.
Oh, he's better?
I might be ready to say.
Oh no, yeah. If
Cam could not throw in the way that Josh can.
No, yeah, that's the difference. Like, and I love Cam Newton too, but Cam was never like. Cam had his moments where he was really good percentage wise.
He was out of his mind 2015.
But year to year, he was never like that. But this is probably the best completion percentage, not throwing as many like intercept worthy passes and all that stuff. Josh Allen's kind of honed it, and I think they all have your boy Brady has kind of like reined his ass in and was like, hey man, do what you do, but we can't have those turnover worthy plays as much anymore. But a dark horse, he won't win it. But I gotta put him in here to twist your ear a little bit. Russell Wilson.
He's only played 5, 10, 11 games?
7 games. So he's played 7 games.
If he was playing the whole year like this, then he'd be in the conversation. But I just can't put him there if he's only played.
I think he should be in the conversation simply because the team looks completely different since he's been starting.
Yeah.
In 7 games, he has damn near 1,800 yards passing, which is about half of what Lamar and Josh have in 14 games, which is what we're at week 14 or 15 now. Mm-hmm. He has 12 touchdowns, but he has 3 interceptions. His completion percentage is about what Josh Allen's has. I think it's a little higher than Josh Allen's, and his on-target percentage is right around 75%. So it's right around what Lamar and Josh are at. He has a little bit more bad throws though than Josh Allen does. So he's last in that category for both of them. But just as far as what MVP means, I feel like he at least should be in the conversation. I'm not saying he should win it, but he should be in that conversation because he's going to win comeback player of the year more than likely, unless he falls off.
He definitely deserves that for sure.
But I just feel like he should be in that conversation just because Pittsburgh looks completely different in how they push the ball down the field and how their pass game than when and I love Justin, but Justin still needs to get over that fear of throwing interceptions. It just he holds the ball, he doesn't push the ball downfield. Russ does not give a fuck.
No, he doesn't. He's throwing that bitch up high.
He's peeling that bitch back, boy. He might even look like that when you throw it.
I think as of now, he doesn't have a real case.
Sure.
But if he were to have played the whole year and look like he did now, he'd definitely be in the conversation. And I think if he plays out the rest of the season, I mean, honestly, he's going to have 2 months.
I mean, they wouldn't. I mean, if he's not in the conversation now, he won't be in it later. I just think that's something that was just more of a thought puzzle. And I think that,
You are right if this was Russell Wilson all year.
Yeah. I still think even with a 7 game sample, he should be in the conversation because them being 10-3, like you could say that it's, the defense, you could say the running game, all these things like are a part of it too, for sure. But those things were there when Justin Fields was starting and they were squeezing out games. And I definitely believe that if he plays in that Cowboys game, they win that game. Just
probably.
That's just my 2 cents. So they would probably have 11 wins and 2 losses instead of 10 wins and 3 losses. So, but yeah,
I'm happy he's back, man. Because all the Russell Wilson is whack team, Russell Wilson is whack has been going crazy for 2 years, and it's really nothing you can be saying because he has been acting whack for the last 2 years, and you can. And I was only really able to notice this because he's been, and I've only really been able to see it because he's been losing. Like I can only see it now because he's losing. But now he's winning. It doesn't matter.
I just think that it's, for me, being a Russell Wilson defender, it's been great because I knew he had it left. Yeah. And for everybody that was riding Kirk Cousins' dick, off of torn Achilles.
Yes.
Which was in
Aaron Rodgers.
That him too, both of them. But both of them for sure. But in particular, Kirk Cousins, just because like Kirk Cousins was always a game manager, and he's been a really good one at that. Like, it's honestly this is nothing against Kirk Cousins. It's more against the people that just thought Atlanta was going to be elevated so much because of Kirk Cousins. And like, why would you draft Michael Penix when you paid this guy $100 million? We see why now, right? So it's people didn't have that same smoke for him, but they had it for Russell Wilson, who has a Super Bowl. Like they could say he won it because of X, Y, and Z, and I could agree with that too. But he still needed to make plays for them to win those games down the stretch. Like, and for him to get treated like he did in Denver, and for us to like act like Sean Payton in a fucking asshole is crazy to me. So, and Sean Payton is right. He was right still.
I mean, it was a move that was good for both of them.
It wasn't, but it was the way, we talk about all the time. It was the way it was handled. That was always
it was not handled.
The issue. So, I'm just happy that he's in an environment that is supportive of him. Again, going back to Mike Tomlin, like coach of the year, obviously. Yeah. Like it's just whoever the runner-up is going to be at this point, because I'm sure Russell had that still, but like so much of being a athlete is, even at the highest levels, is a coach or people around you breathing life into you.
For sure.
Especially when you've been broken. Like Justin Fields and Russell Wilson have been broken. Like they would never say that publicly, but they've both been in environments that did not want them. And they had to go somewhere where like, and when you watch Hard Knocks, like Mike Tomlin is breathing life into Russell. He hasn't forgot about Justin. He's like breathing life into Justin. He's talking George Pickens down from the fucking ledge. Like he about to crash out and he's like, look, hey man, like we got you. You still here. You with us. Like like, and you could just kind of see that. And they're set up to possibly have the present and the future in the quarterback room.
Yeah.
Like,
and to bring it full circle in this whole conversation, like you said, Justin Fields from the beginning of his career sort of was in that situation where he was in a place that wasn't really rocking with him in the way he was, and never really was able to get it right. He'll stay in that building behind Russell Wilson and figure it out, just like Bryce got to do this year. You know what I mean? Because Reich didn't want Bryce. He wanted Stroud. Had to make it work with Bryce. Bryce loses his confidence on some, why they don't want me, man.
Yeah.
Comes back next year, can't get it right. And Canales breathes new life into him. So it's just a wonder what happens when you pair a good coach with the quarterback of your franchise quarterback. What could really happen if they are a good coach, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Jared Goff and Dan Campbell.
Same thing. And I told you this before, my dad, shout out to Big Vic, to this day beats down the table for Jared Goff as a Rams fan. Mm-hmm. And when that deal happened, he said that was the dumbest thing they could have done. because they gave up not only Jared Goff, but they gave up all those picks that turned into what this dynasty, or not the dynasty, but what this Super Bowl caliber team in Detroit looks like. But Dan Campbell will fucking break down a brick wall for Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And people to this day say Jared Goff isn't that good. I'm like, get the fuck out of my face, man. Like,
conversely, in that same deal, Matt Stafford and Sean McVay.
Yeah, same. Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like that. There's no way of looking like that's a win-win deal.
I would argue that everybody wanted Matt Stafford. He just didn't want to be.
Everyone wanted Matt Stafford, yes, but he got paired with a coach who did the most to get him.
He did, and he did breathe new life into him. Absolutely.
He was actually coming to Carolina. He was coming to Carolina, and Sean McVay
no, I can't let this happen.
He called his owner while he was on vacation or something. He was just like, no, you got to make this happen, and the rest is history. Nigga.
Yeah, so I mean, they got a Super Bowl out of it.
They did.
My dad's happy about that, but he's just kind of like, my dad's always looking at things in 3D. So he's like, damn, you know, they're not going to have eating picks. They're probably not going to make the playoffs this year or whatever. But yeah, so it's, I mean, shit, Jordan Love, man. Jordan Love. You know, he sat behind Aaron Rodgers. And like now for 2-3 years. And then now like he's balling. So I think it speaks to a lot of that. Like Michael Penix I think this is good for him. I think it's, even though he's an older guy, like I think it's good for him to sit behind. Because all things considered, Kirk Cousins is a pro. Like, he's a pro's pro as a quarterback. So to learn from him and to sit behind him and not have the pressure of leading that team, which was a lot of people's pick to make it to the playoffs or win that division, he doesn't have to do that yet. He could maybe next year or 2 years or whatever, maybe they cut Kirk or whatever, but like, at least for right now, he ain't got to worry about that shit. He could just learn and get right. You know what I'm saying? So, man, this has been a crazy conversation. It's been great. I know my boy he got things to do. He got people to see. I just want to thank Jordan Hicks so much for joining us on the podcast today.
It's been great, man.
Yeah, man, it's been great, bro. Just let the people know what you've been working on.
Well, first of all, it's been great. It's fed my soul being able to yap with you for about 2 hours, man. It's been a while since we've really gotten into like what's been going on in the
Likewise,
world,
man.
But like I'll call and check up on this man, but we don't really get into it like we used to because we ain't on the Frock, you know what I'm saying? The Frock Boyz. So I hope you have a little Frock Boy Fridays or something when we got, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna figure something out.
We're gonna figure something out.
We're gonna figure something out. But as for where you can find me, follow me on @JHicksReports. If you're in the Los Angeles area, I perform stand up around the city at various places. You can find all the information on my Instagram. That's where I will be posting it, and it's really exciting. That's something I haven't been able to say in ever. That's crazy. Also, we do a little online wrestling league. Me and my cousin. Over on Twitch, Premier Wrestling Online. Actually, that's why I'm leaving. I'm jumping off of here and getting right onto that. So look, his name is Ted the Toy Collector on Twitch. That's where all the streams go, and you can follow that wrestling league on TikTok @Premier Wrestling Online. So yeah, man, we just go on there and watch people play WWE 2K for 3 hours. So it's a good time, and we say a bunch of crazy shit in the median. So it's a good time.
Hell yeah. I did hop on, I think it was last week when you guys did it. I did hop on for a little bit and just to see what was going on. And these dudes get after it. They're having a good time. They get wild and all that good stuff. So go ahead and check that out when you get a chance. Just to wrap things up, man, I just, I always tell you this, like, I'm so proud of you, dog. Like, you've been talking about this move to LA for a long time and chasing your dreams of doing stand-up. And for a long time, I'm just happy to hear you say, like, you're doing stand-up, because even the last time I had you on, you were still in that trying to do that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to hear you actually affirm it and say it out loud that this is what you've been doing. Like I said, I'm super proud of you, man. You're really funny. You know how I feel about you. Proud of you and Maya for taking that leap to move to Los Angeles, because I know that could be scary to leave everything that you've known and to be completely away from your family and all that good stuff and to try something new. So again, just super proud of you, bro. And I think that you got a lot of good things coming your way. just keep plugging away, keep going, man. You're a funny guy, and I think that it's gonna pop for you at some point.
Appreciate you, brother, man. And I'm proud of you for doing this and getting this shit off the ground, because you've been talking about doing this. You've been talking about doing this podcast for forever, and now you finally getting a chance to do it. You already got viral videos, and you got guests and shit. You got artists coming out the woodwork trying to make your theme songs and stuff like that. I saw it on TikTok. I was like, oh, here we go. I thought I was on my friends tab, but no, I was on the For You page, seeing everybody got a podcast video going off, and I was like, yeah, like motherfuckers are seeing this. So I'm excited for you. This thing is gonna take off for you. I can see it already, and that's why I'm trying to get in on the ground floor with these Frock Boy Fridays.
I feel that.
I'm trying to ride them coattails. I'm riding whoever coattails let me on, brother.
No, man, I appreciate that. I think that's the main reason why I wanted to start this platform, was because I got a lot of, beautiful and talented people in my life, like a Jordan Hicks, like a Corbin Butler, that lend their talents to me. And, I'm, talented in my own right. So to kind of like all of us collectively sharing in each other's energy is just something I've always been fond of. And now it's, I want the world to see it. So I really appreciate you. Continue to lend your voice to the content. We're going to get you back on here pretty soon.
Absolutely.
Hey, maybe we will have some Frock Boy Fridays or something where we can just kind of yap and catch up, and then everybody can just see us talk about the shit that's going on in our lives. But just make sure y'all like and subscribe. We've been doing that pretty well. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Again, the music that you will hear on the ins and outs of this podcast is by my boy Corbin Butler. Make sure you go check out. He got new music out, Inland Iverson, on Apple, Spotify, everywhere you get your music. Again, thank you so much. Peace.